guys. If you've never been here before, my name is Lexi. I grew up in the Mormon church and left when I was 25. I now consider myself an ex-Mormon, and this YouTube channel is where I talk about the church, my experiences, and the experiences of others. I asked my ex-Mormon Twitter followers what advice they would give to a Mormon whose metaphorical shelf just broke. In other words, someone who just lost their faith in the church and is now going through a crisis of faith. They all gave such great advice that I decided to condense it and make this video for anyone who may need it. So let's just jump right in. 10 pieces of advice for anyone going through a faith crisis. 1, it's normal to be feeling all kinds of emotion. You might feel grief, loss, confusion, anger, depression, guilt, fear. At some point, you might also start to feel liberated, relieved, even euphoric. All of your feelings are valid. Let yourself process these emotions. Don't keep them bottled up. And try not to feel guilty about feeling positive emotions. Many people who leave the church start to feel a lot of pressure lift off their shoulders when they no longer have to go to church every Sunday. And sometimes it's easy to feel guilty about that. It's okay. You'll be okay. The church has a lot of teachings that indicate that any negative emotion comes from Satan. That isn't true. Negative emotions are normal and just as valid as positive ones. Just remember that your emotions are not bad. It's okay for you to feel positive emotions, and it's okay for you to feel negative ones too. 2, don't feel like you owe anyone a confession or an explanation. You don't have to make a big announcement. Of course, it's always up to you to decide what's right for you. But oftentimes, ex-Mormons find themselves regretting the decision to make a big "I left the church and here's why" post on Facebook. I personally was on the verge of sending an email to all of my extended family members letting them know that I had left. Someone talked me out of it, and I'm really glad they did. There was no need for it. You can do that if you want to, but you do not have to. If you don't want to talk about it, don't let others guilt you into doing so. Your bishop, ward members, friends, or family might try to contact you to figure out what's going on. Remember, it's about you, not them. So whether you want to talk to them about it or not, that's up to you. Talk about it when you're ready, and if you never want to talk about it, don't. 3, if your family is LDS, especially if that goes back a few generations, you leaving the church might be really hard on them. They may berate you for abandoning them. You're not. As one commenter on Twitter pointed out, the church promotes living in the world, but not of the world. Your Mormon family chose to live apart from the world. You're not abandoning them. You're simply living life to its fullest in the way that you want to. Try to understand that your family will also be experiencing something difficult for them, because they've been taught their whole lives that families can be together forever if they stay in the church and follow the teachings. You may feel grief and loss because of this, and they might too. Be patient with yourself and try to be patient with your family, but don't let them guilt you into feeling like you're doing something wrong. If you haven't left the church yet, but your shelf is on the verge of collapsing, it's okay to take a break. Leaving the church doesn't have to be permanent. Give yourself some leeway and take a break if you need one. 5, it will get better. Often it takes time. Be gentle with yourself. Let yourself grieve, because it can sometimes feel like processing a death. It is a loss, after all. It's normal to go through a mourning period. Things may feel dark. You may spend a lot of time in tears. And this is a normal part of coping with loss. It's not because you've lost the spirit. Things will get better, so let yourself go through the grief process and know that with time, the positive feelings will outweigh the negative ones. 6, going right along with that, know that life still has purpose. Sometimes when you're coming out of the church, your mind can tell you that you won't be happy without it, but that's because the church actively teaches that there is no true joy outside of the gospel. That's not true. You can have a beautiful, joyful, fulfilling life outside of the church. You'll find that the purpose of life is the purpose you give yourself, not the one assigned to you by someone else. And that is beautiful. 7, do what makes you happy. Try new things. Many people who leave the church discover that there are a lot of things that they really enjoy that they never would have experienced if they'd stayed trapped in the narrow worldview that Mormonism teaches. Don't feel like you have to jump into anything that you're uncomfortable with and start experimenting right away. Take your time. Go at your own pace. But as you start letting go of guilt, and when it feels right for you, maybe try a cup of coffee. Start small. Maybe you've always wanted an extra ear piercing. Maybe there was an R-rated movie you've heard was great, but you never saw. Watch the movie. 8, don't try to bring others out with you if they aren't ready. It's easy to make this mistake. You were shut in a dark room with nothing but a candle, and you found a tunnel that led you outside to a bright, beautiful world. You're ecstatic to be out, and you want to tell everyone. Don't. At least not yet. Most people in the church will not listen to somebody who's left until they're ready. I experienced this personally. I didn't listen to my disbelieving friends. I only left the church when I did my own research in my own time. Trying to force someone to listen will often push them in the opposite direction, and they'll cling even more tightly to their beliefs. Instead of doing that, just live your life, be happy, and be there for them if they decide to reach out and learn more. 9. Reach out to others who understand, be that ex-Mormons or even people like ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. People who have been through the same thing. People who have also had to learn to cope with their life being turned upside down. Learning that their most deeply held beliefs are not true, or even that the group they were a part of is actually a cult. Join groups on Facebook or Reddit, and those people can help you find a local support group if you want something closer. It can be super helpful to build a new community if you feel like you've lost your community in Mormonism. If you don't feel like you can fit into a group like that, no worries, don't join one. Maybe look into joining a group that focuses on something you love, like animals, photography, music, sports, whatever. Just being a part of something and making new friends can make a big difference. 10. Don't do what anyone tells you to do. That includes ex-Mormons. That includes me. That includes this list of advice. You don't have to listen to anyone else. Do what works for you, because this isn't about anyone else, and no one else can understand your situation the way you do. If these things work for you, apply them. If not, do your own thing. It's your life. As a final personal note, please know that you are not alone. There are thousands of us who have been through the same thing. The church not being true can feel like the end of the world. It's not. Everything will be okay. You as a human being are valuable, and your belief or unbelief does not change that. And there's nothing you're not worthy of. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to everybody on Twitter who helped me compile this list. I'm really happy with this video because this is the type of thing that really helped me when I was leaving the church. And I want as many new Exmos as possible to see this video. So with this video, more than any other, please like and comment. Doing those things really does make a big difference in getting this video to more people. And please share. If you're in an ex-Mormon group, or if you have a friend who recently left the church, or even if you have a friend who's just considering leaving the church, share this video with them. Share it with anybody you think would benefit from it. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have any more advice that wasn't shared here, go ahead and share it in the comments. The more the merrier. Special thank you to my patrons for supporting this channel. It means a whole lot to me because this is what I love doing, and as long as it's helping people, I'll continue to do it. Extra special thank you to @Keegar, Jake Nunyabiz, and Melissa Jane Heyer for supporting at the Demon tier on my Patreon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!